the captor, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are all caught up with the Boruto manga and you do not care about me talking about spoilers or speculation that's going to be based on stuff that takes place in the actual manga. So with that being said though, let's jump right into today's topic. So I want to talk to you guys about the time skip for the Boruto Naruto Next Generations manga. And so everybody recalls how back in December, Ikemoto talked about the fact that the time skip was going to be coming soon, and people said like, oh my god, we're in July, where's the time skip? And I want to say something that I've been holding off on saying. I've been replying to people in the comment section, kind of giving my thoughts on it, but it seems like every other video that I do, people ask me what's going on with the time skip, when are we going to actually get it. So I want to tell you guys what I think is my best guess on when the time skip's coming, and I'm gonna say this right now. I think that it will be announced at Jump Festa this year. And now somebody's like, wait a second, why would they hold off a Jump Festa of this year? And they said it was going to be happening soon. And when that news got announced, one of the things I told people is that like, hey, soon might mean in a matter of months, and soon might mean, hey, we got a few story events to actually get through before we actually get to the time skip. And I use the example of how Masashi Kishimoto said like, yeah, after I get done writing the Sasuke and Itachi stuff, I'm going to talk about Sakura, I'm going to talk about Kakashi. Kakashi's going to get a lot of character development soon. Soon ended up being like 18 or 19 months. In terms of story pacing, soon actually meant that we had a certain number of events to get through, and in Kishimoto's mind that was not a lot of actual events. It was just a matter of getting through the chapters to where you actually start connecting off of those actual events. I don't think we're gonna be waiting as long for that, but I think that when you look at what's going on in the manga, because of the pacing that the manga actually undergoes, there's been a lot of actual development that's taking place, but because it's month by month, it's a little bit harder for people actually digest it and swallow it opposed to on a weekly basis. And this brings me to Jump Festa, because we're in this situation right now to where Jump Festa will be in December of this year. We're in July going into the August portion, so we're going into the August chapter coming up. So when you peep the logic at this point, this gives you three things. This gives you an opportunity where you can tease some of the upcoming chapters. I think that once we wrap up this part one, just as Naruto part one gave us a Kakashi Gaiden that lasted 6 chapters, it would not surprise me if we get 3 or 4 chapters that are actually based on, say, like an Ishiki Gaiden, where we look at the information of what happened when Ishiki came to the planet, or we look at an Amato Gaiden that's used to actually backdoor foreshadow some of the stuff that's getting ready to happen post time skip. But just as the Kakashi Gaiden was used to foreshadow the stuff that was going on with Obito, it would not surprise me if they went that route, which goes into the second thing, which is it gives you more of an opportunity to start padding out more of the actual story to get more manga volumes in there. Because once you get that time skip, and once Boruto's manga likely does what Naruto's manga did, where the first 27 volumes have that white back, and then the volumes from volume 28 all the way to volume 72 have the black backing, essentially that gives them opportunity to essentially get the collectors come out and purchase all the older volumes. And then the third reason why this makes most sense is that we're in August right now, which means that August is chapter, say we start the countdown to the time skip next month, that means that the setup for the actual battle, most of the next chapter would be focused on that, and then the back end of that chapter is going to be where the big confrontation happens, where people end up meeting each other. And then the September chapter will be a situation where you have the actual battle take place, and then the October chapter will end up being a situation where the reversal takes place to where one side gets the upper hand on the other. Then the November chapter will be a situation where the battle wraps up, whatever plot twist you're going to have actually take place, that happens, you start the resolution, and then in December you get to the point to where that's where you pay off everything. Similar to how you had the events with Naruto chapter 237 and chapter 238, where in one chapter Jiraiya is saying, I'm gonna take you, we're gonna go training. You had the moment where Sakura goes to Tsunade, says, please make me your student. And then the next chapter, in chapter 238, we get a built-in time skip where it's been 3 months since that actual moment takes place. Sakura's already trained with Tsunade. Tsunade. Jiraiya's getting ready to leave out the village with Naruto. And so I think that you're going to have another similar thing that happens here, to where there's going to be a little built-in wiggle room between the events of the November chapter and the December chapter. And then December, you're likely going to have your actual time skip in that actual chapter right there. I think that that's the thing that makes the most sense. You have to look at it from a marketing standpoint, or if you want to use a wrestling term, if you're booking a match in December, if the time skip's going to be your WrestleMania, then you got to do a build up to actually getting there. A lot of times I think that a lot of fans, they just say, I want the time skip now, I want it now. You have to understand the importance of actual build up for that. And when you look at the way that Boruto's manga actually structures fights, they typically go in the pattern I just laid out for you. So I think, again, when it just comes to actual build up from a marketing standpoint, that makes the most sense. You're not going to have a time skip in some random chapter, like some people are saying chapter 56, like in March of this year. You're not going to have something like that because there's no real marketing opportunity for you. For Boruto, it's not crazy to think that they do something very similar to what they did with Naruto, to where most of the time when stuff was announced with Naruto and there were key moments, typically stuff like that was done at Jump Festa, where they're able to make a big hoorah and capitalize on that stuff. Like we found out at Jump Festa that in sometime in 2014 that Naruto's manga would actually be ending. We found out at Jump Festa in 2012 that Naruto the Last was coming. The same thing you found out at Jump Festa back in 2004, that we were going to be getting new designs for Naruto and the rest of them after the time skip. The manga at the time was still in the Kakashi Gaiden portion, where you're getting the flashback of how Kakashi first got the Sharingan. Typically, again, stuff like that is usually at Jump Festa. Either the author will say something or the magazine will run some type of special promo. There'll be something in there to maximize your marketing opportunity. Other franchises have done things differently, but we're talking about Naruto in particular. So you're not going to be talking about Dragon Ball, to where even with, say, Dragon Ball Super, which is having a movie come out next year, if you look at it, what did they end up doing? They announced the movie and then they showed you a teaser at San Diego Comic-Con, which means that we're going to probably get something with some real meat to it over at Jump Festa in December of this year. So I say that to say, again, just looking at how Naruto stuff is usually done stuff in past behavior, it's typically when you get to that Jump Festa type stuff that there's usually some type of hallmark moment. And with this being Masashi Kishimoto's first real run at the Boruto franchise with him as the writer, I don't see Masashi Kishimoto passing up that opportunity to kind of end the year off on a bang and kind of roll into Jump Festa. One of my favorite moments of when he pulls something like this, it's like when you go to Jump Festa in the year 2012. That year when Naruto chapter 614 and chapter 615 came out, a little fun fact, I know a lot of you guys are new, that's when the chapters came out where Neji Hyuga died, where at the end of chapter 614 he ends up getting the back scratcher from hell, and then in chapter 615 you have it where Hinata smacks this guy on the face and everything, and then Naruto ends up grabbing Hinata's hand and she's like, oh my god, Naruto-kun's hand's so big. And you essentially have this moment to where everything was lined up right then and there, and then Kishimoto just rolled into Jump Festa the next week, and essentially there's this whole announcement and everything about how Naruto the Last would be coming out in a couple of years. And so it was one of those things to where back then we didn't know that that movie was going to be about Naruto and Hinata and their relationship, but looking back in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense, and it was very symbolic, and that would explain why Masashi Kishimoto said, like, yeah, you know, when it comes to putting Naruto and Hinata together, I needed to kill Neji off because Neji had to play Cupid. I wasn't sure how to actually make those two get closer together. And so it was one of those things to where it all makes sense in hindsight. It wasn't every year during all 14 years of publication when Naruto was there, but it was one of those things where you could kind of count on it. If you circled your calendar for the end of the year for Jump Festa, you could kind of count on something big actually being announced during that time. And towards the end of Naruto's run, you had a lot of stuff for Kishimoto kind of pop up, like at 2013, like, yeah, the Naruto manga is going to end sometime in 2014. Little small stuff like that. Every time you would have these key moments in the manga, and then you would go to Jump Festa, you have this. If I'm not mistaken, I'm doing this off the top of my head, I believe it was chapter 614 that came out, And then you had Jump Festa next week, and then the last, matter of fact, I know this is right, then the last chapter of the year was that moment to where Hinata smacks Naruto in the face, and she grabs Naruto's hand, and she's like, Naruto-kun, your hand is just so big, I wonder what else is big about you, and Naruto says, well, I got 9 foxes, baby. Like, it's kind of the same thing right there, man. It's kind of the same thing, man. Like, Kishimoto would not actually pass up a opportunity like this with Jump Festa this year, this being the first full year where he's actually writing the Boruto story. This makes a lot of sense from a marketing standpoint. So I just want to kind of weigh in and give my thoughts on this matter. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.